I'm constantly reminded of the importance of just learning from mistakes. Yesterday was a Tuesday, and typically on Tuesdays, it's my writing day. It's the day that I sit down and dedicate to chipping away at my novel, Lucidity. And I've been going strong and releasing it, and I'll put a link down below so you can check it out. But basically, I started the project because I wanted a challenge, and I wanted to do something that I thought would be very hard, if not impossible. And for me, that was writing a fiction novel. So part of that means that I'm going to be attempting something that I naturally have pushback for. Most of the other stuff that I do in my life, I find challenging, but I know that I can do it. Whereas a fictional novel, one that's good, seems, or at least seemed when I started, quite far out of my reach. Now, I'm not saying that it's within my reach now, but I've been reading and studying and practicing a whole bunch, and I can sort of see the pieces slowly forming together. I've got that sort of 1% look. The problem is because I find it so challenging, is that the act of doing it causes me a lot of duress. Now, I enjoy doing it. It's fun, and the results that I'm getting, I'm quite happy with, and you can read some of the chapters that I've got up. But every time I sit down, I freak out. I get nervous and I worry, and then sometimes I'm able to write, and other days I have just days that it doesn't come, writer's block or just insecurities or whatever. But the problem is when I have those insecurities, I find myself getting to this downward rumination spiral, in the sense that I just sort of struggle, and then I struggle because I'm struggling, and then it just perpetuates me downwards. So there's a couple of lessons that I've learned from this. The first is to realize and to remind myself that I'm doing something hard, that I'm doing something that I have chosen to do because it is hard, for the very reason that it's hard. And the second thing is that it's gonna cause me the mental duress and the stress and all of that sort of stuff that I'm feeling and discovering and acknowledging within me. That doesn't help the creativity progress, right? I have this desire to just get things done, but things can only be done at the time and pace that they can be done, and worrying about how quickly they're going to be done causes issues itself. So there's something to be learned there that suggests it's like, okay, I have to let it happen as it's going to happen. I have to be kinder to myself and just realize that, I set myself this challenge because it is a challenge, and just to acknowledge what that challenge means. It means it's going to be challenging, right? But the deeper lesson here, I suppose, is that I wasn't taking the morning time, the setup to it as seriously. Prior to a normal day at work, I will follow a pretty strict morning routine. I'll get up, I'll meditate, I'll exercise, and I'll ride to work. And what that does is the meditation and the weightlifting sort of clears my mind, and then I jump on my bike and I ride to work, and I've got that cardio, I've got the fresh air, I'm loose, I'm feeling good. The problem with the riding days are that there's no time that I have to start, right? And I don't have to leave the house. So what ends up happening is that my mornings just stretch, rather than the running routine taking, an hour to an hour and a half, including the ride. I stretch it out to 3 hours, because what does it matter when I start, right? I've got the day ahead of me. And that means that I'm not really priming myself for success. I'm not really sort of setting myself to be able to just sit down and get going. And that lack of priming, combined with a stressful day at work the prior day, combined with this downward spiral, combined with the challenging task, all culminated with me having a very bad Tuesday night. I crashed. I needed to take Valium, which is, as a part of my crisis plan, is significantly down the list. I don't like having to take I don't like having to take medications as a form of way to deal with my mental health, but I will when I have to. So what I'm learning is that I'm like, okay, I need to set myself a start time. I need to consider my writing, although it's creative, I need to consider my writing as work. Not in the sense of like I'm doing it as a drudgery work, but like life purpose style work. Like it matters, because it does, because I've dedicated this time to that craft, to the practice, to making this thing, and I've put it aside. And if I don't prime myself for success, I'm going to be wasting it. I hate not moving forward. I hate not getting growth or gains or knowledge or that sort of stuff. It irks me. I can't exactly place the exact cause of that, but I just know it's an internal thing that I want to always be pushing forward. And that doesn't mean that every day I need to be like, taking steps forward, but it just means that I need to be over the long term trending up. And how do I go and trend up over the long term? It's by looking back at the mistakes and the failures and learning from it. Me wanting it more doesn't necessarily help, but I have to prime myself to be in a better place to be successful for when I do take the action. So from next week, from Saturday, because on Saturdays I do my Skillshare recording, so it's another act of creativity. Tuesdays and Saturdays are my sort of, quote unquote creative days, in which I do the majority of the creation of my online stuff. Podcasts and other things and poems I just sort of do here and there, but the lucidity writing and the video course creation I do on Tuesdays and Saturdays respectively. And I realize now I've got to consider it like a work day, have a start time. So I've designated that I'm going to start at 8:30. That's the start time. No excuses. I'll still get up at my normal morning time. I'll still go through the routine. I'll still go for the bike ride or the run, get my body moving, still do the weightlifting, still do all of the different things I've got to do. And then when I've primed myself like I normally would, I'll sit down and write, and I'll give myself that 3 to 4 hours window to write. And if I don't get anything done in that 3 to 4 hours, that's okay. I sat down and gave myself the best chance to get it done. The chance is what I'm wanting here. The possibility of getting the writing done is what I'm after. Because if for whatever reason I can't get it done, I'm not in control of that. My creative process is very, particularly with the writing, very, very, very discovery. I've got an idea for lucidity where it's going to go, but it keeps twisting and changing and growing. At the moment, I've realized that what I'm writing now is sort of like the backstory to the novel that will become. And I'm doing a bunch of different little sagas. So I've got the Swan Lady saga talking about Elijah and Juniper's story. And I've now got the Midnight Lady saga, which is about Jessica's story. And I might change the names, I might change the stories, all that sort of thing. But what I'm realizing is that as I'm writing it, I sort of sit down to write and then something comes for me to write. I can't pre-plan that, it just happens. So then it's about getting it all onto the page and then sort of twisting it and tweaking it and putting it together into a coherent story. I think I'll end up making it what I'm doing now is sort of the backstory, so I'll follow the different sagas of a few different characters, get to know them, get to know their backstory, get to know their history, get to know the universe, and then when I'm ready to write the actual novel that I'm planning on writing, I will have had 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 different characters with a fully fleshed out backstory, already ready to go. So, a couple of things. If you're curious about reading that progress, I'll chuck you a link to my Lucidity page and you can check out the chapters that I've got up. I'm going to upload a bunch more. And then, I suppose, ongoing from now on, I'm going to be putting out the chapters that I'm writing as I go as a Patreon exclusive, in the sense that if you sign up for my $10 Patreon tier, you'll get 3 months early access. The idea being that it's a way to, support me and, get something a little bit back for yourself. So if you like the podcast, you like what I'm doing, you want to check out and get the early access, you will. But as always, I put everything out there for free. I've also got a few other things up on Patreon. I've got the bonus Skillshare courses, bonus courses on my website. I'm going to put out a new one coming soon on skills and drills for self-defense. And I've got a bunch more mental health-based ones coming as well. Once again, the Patreon will give you a 3 months early access to that. And I've also got I've got 3 chapters up at the moment with early access for how to get your shit together. So if you're interested in all that, head over to my Patreon and check out how you can support what I'm doing here. But yeah, in terms of setting up and creating a creative routine, this is I've always looked at that sort of artistic expression and this idea that art sort of just has to come and has to be and just sort of airy-fairy stuff. But I realised that I can sort of give myself that time and that space to be creative in, but I can be disciplined around that space. So when that 3 hours, 4 hours comes on a Tuesday or a Saturday, I can just explore and play. But that's my exploring and playing time, and I'll prepare for it, and I'll do all the other things around it so I can just do it, right? So that's sort of roughly where I'm at, and just with the lucidity, once more, I'm giving the Patreon supporters a little bit of a background look. So I'll be doing videos that I'm basically sharing, like, hey, this is my process, this is what I'm doing, this is what I did today, that sort of style of video. So if you're interested, head over, check it out. And if you like this podcast, please review it. It's the best way you can support. Ciao. Cheers.